What happens when you stop making your career the center of your life? Genuine question. I'll wait for the answer. Drop it in the comments. I'm waiting. I can tell you exactly what that answer is for me. And there's a whole story. So I hope you all have your tea, because I'm going to spill my tea, if that's even still a thing. I cannot believe I just said that. Okay, moving on. My answer, and I've gotten rid of here because I got notes, so we're going to dive into this. My answer is that I don't want my job to be the organizing principle of my life anymore. I have been in and out of different jobs in different industries, mostly in the consulting world, for far too long. Way too long. And the reality is, if you've been around this channel for a little while, you've seen me do a lot of travel content, and I've talked a little bit about the layoff that happened last September. I know exactly where it was. The joke is when I got laid off on a beach in Nice. It was crazy, but I think what I really would rather talk about is not so much the layoff as it was the furlough. Because what happened when I got the notice that I was being furloughed, my first instinct was to brush up my resume and work my network and start applying to jobs. And you can imagine all these jobs were cookie cutter, exactly what I had been doing. Same corner of the business tech world, consulting. They were similar benefits, similar pay, similar titles, everything. It was like I was exchanging one job in the hopes of a different job. And I think that is the scary part that I don't think people talk about. Or if they do, they don't talk about it enough in this space. Everyone talks about how wonderful it is to get laid off when you're in a toxic workplace, and there's the freedom and you have all these options. But when your first instinct is to be the good little robot that corporate has taught you to be, not even just corporate, that our world has taught you to be, you follow this cookie cutter process, go brush up your resume, work your network, apply to the job, get an interview, get another job, work till you're 65, and then you go start living life. That's scary. When you've run out of options or you don't even see that there are other options, that's scary. And that is what people do not talk about enough. So, for me, if you've been around this channel long enough, I'm a traveler, I'm a dancer, and those are things that are so, so important to me. They're things that I have tried to squeeze into the margins of working a corporate 9 to 5 for as long as I can remember, probably realistically hitting it hard and making that more of a priority in the past 10 years, at least the past 10 years. I distinctly remember when I finally realized that I was officially like a full-fledged adult, and I had a career, and I had money, and I had time off, and what was I going to do with that? I had options at my feet for the first time. I was working in the solar industry at the time, and I was like, heck yeah, you know what? I'm going to go. I will never, just do moments that I'll never forget. And it was, but those could be a video for another time. The point was, these were moments that I prioritized my life, and I prioritized travel over my work. There was no question in my mind about it. So as I start to digress from my notes, because I made tons of notes, obviously super fired up about this topic. I'm super excited to kind of be shifting gears this topic. And the biggest reason that I'm shifting gears, if you've been here for a while, obviously, travel, I've said it a couple times now. I had a big moment of clarity recently that what I really want to talk about and what I should be talking about isn't travel. I should be talking about how travel, in my case, dance, are the byproducts of building a life that allows me to do that, instead of having to ask permission from building someone else's dream in the 9 to 5 to be able to go live my life and chase my dreams. So I'm digressing. I know I'm digressing. I'm bringing it back. I'm reading my notes. I digressed. I digress. What can I say? Like, if you watch my videos, you know that I like go off on tangents all the time. So let's get back to this. Asking permission to live your life is a wild concept to me. And I'm not saying I haven't, so that I'm not saying, how do I politely say that we've been taught to exchange our time for money and that it is okay to ask your manager for permission to go to a doctor's appointment or to go to a friend's wedding or to take a mental health break and go to Europe, even just for a week. Heck, go for the weekend. Easy. I cannot believe that we have been so molded into these beings that you work so hard. You spend 8 hours a day at a workplace. If you have a commute, let's say, somewhere half an hour to an hour, both sides of that, well, now you're looking at 9 to 10 hours of your day. That leaves you with 14 hours, let's say, in your day. 8 of that you're sleeping. Now you're at 6 hours of awake time to eat, shower, do chores, run errands, work out, whatever floats your boat, go dancing, be social. And what is that? That's not a lot of time. And that's time that you're not necessarily spending with your significant other, with your friends, your family, your kids, if you have kids, your pets. You spend the majority of your time working, and then you have to ask permission to have time when you need it to, I don't know, go to your kids' game or their recital, or like I said earlier, go to a friend's wedding. You're a bridesmaid or a groomsman or just part of the wedding party, and you need to be there early. Now you're taking time off. You have to ask for that. You have to ask permission to have the opportunity to make those memories with the people that matter to you most. And the crazy thing is, when you get to the end of your life, not that I'm anywhere in my life, at least I hope not. The point I'm making, and we all know this, even before not on our deathbed, is you are not going to look back and think, wow, I am so glad that I spent the majority of my life punching a time clock. You're going to look back and say, I wish I'd taken that trip. I wish I'd been there that extra day for a friend's wedding. I wish I didn't have to fly out early from a dance event. I wish I was not working while at the dance event and missing out on time with the people who mean the most to me. Some of the people that mean most to me in the world. And so I say all that going back to my notes because it's like, thank you, corporate America. Like, well, chef's kiss, whatever. Like, it's so perfect. You brainwashed this and the thing and this and the thing. And the reality is we don't live in a world where we have to choose that anymore. And that's what I'm choosing. I'm choosing to no longer fit what I consider my life, thing that matter the most to me, into the margins. And that's super scary. I told someone the other day that I must be absolutely crazy to even be considering going all in on this. Obviously, I'm not going to be financially irresponsible and still looking, other options, freelance options. I'm very much going to be making multiple streams of income because I really believe that we cannot live in this world today without having multiple streams of income. But one of those things that I'm going to do is I'm really going to focus on being here. I'm going to focus on sharing that journey. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. That's kind of like my little closing bit here in my notes. I know. I'm a note taker, by the way. If you haven't watched any of the other videos that I've done, I come from a consulting background. I'm a project manager. I'm actually currently working on my project management certificate from San Diego State University, which just makes me laugh because I did it, partly because that's who I am and that's my career and that's what I do. And I'm going back to corporate. So obviously I have to do those things again. And that's just simply not the reality. Hold that thought. My cat, who's in other videos, is currently doing things she's not supposed to be doing. And by the way, I don't edit these videos. Like, what you see is what you get. Totally real here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's bring us back. Let's bring it here. You're probably wondering, or people have asked me about like the risk to my career, stepping away, and what does that hole look like on a resume? Or am I throwing things away? Am I throwing away everything I've really fought for a long time? Things that I feel I was fighting for it really at a detriment to my health for. And honestly, I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm using all those skills and all those network connections and everything that I was taught to build something that's mine, to go after something that's mine, to be creative again. Oh my gosh, can't wait to be creative again. I mean, I have been, but gosh, I'm so excited. So yeah, I love my kitties, but they always get their whiskers into things when they really don't need to. I'm so sorry once again for the interruption. I think I was saying something about being excited. I don't know. Oh, creativity. I'm excited to be creative again. There are so many things that I know moving forward that I need to be able to do. And being creative is certainly one of them. Doing these YouTube videos is certainly going to be one of them. I'm pumped. I'm so on fire about this topic right now, and I'm talking way too fast. You know, don't bother looking down your settings. You should not put it on 2 times the speed. This is just the pace this video is working at. Woo! So let's talk about what I'm actually doing. I started to touch on that a little bit. So we're gonna stick here, me, myself, and the kitties. We'll be here. We're gonna be building this. This is something that I am challenging myself to build in real time and share it with all of you as I'm building it real time. So I'll be here every day. I'm gonna do 100 videos posted every single day, showing you what is going on, what the feelings are about, what when feelings are cropping up, the thoughts are going through my head. When I say there's no plan B, I'm really committing to the fact that there is no plan B and that I am not going back. I am going to do everything in my power to not go back to a corporate 9 to 5 and build my own thing. I don't really know what it's going to look like right now. I have some ideas. I've been talking to some people. I've got things in the pipeline. And of course, one of those things is the eventual goal, which also now has a deadline. Thank you, social media powers that be. This channel, part of this 100 days, the goal is to get monetized. And as you probably heard, the new deadline before that changes is February 27th next year. My goal and my dream would be to have this monetized in 100 days. We're going to get there. I don't know how, but we're going to get there. So that's one thing I'm doing. I'm also looking at rebuilding my freelancing. I freelanced a lot coming out of the pandemic, during and coming out of the pandemic, I should say, before going back to corporate. So I know I can do it. I'm just trying to really find what I want to do in that space again. So that'll be another one. So, yeah, I'm super excited. Obviously, not waiting to have anything super polished and pretty to show you. This is real. This is what it's like to be jobless. I'm in my mid-30s. I'm totally reinventing everything right now. I'm betting on myself. I'm bucking the system, you could say. And I'm really, really looking at it. I'm going all in. I'm committing to it. This is going to be a wild ride, and I buckled up for it. So, you know, was just looking back at my notes. Because again, I'm a note taker. Oh my gosh, you guys, a note taker. Like, I pretty much had this all like outlined before recording, which is craziness. But that's the way I worked. So here we are. It just breaks the contact with the camera, which is also going through my head right now. But all that to be said, yeah. I guess, some of the questions I'm trying to answer, because I have one written down here, is like, what if we're optimizing our whole lives for the wrong thing? I certainly feel that I've optimized my life for the wrong thing for a very long time. I've squeezed travel into the margins, which is absolute insanity. For those who haven't watched a lot of my travel content here on this channel, I've been to 33 countries. I've been to all 7 continents twice. I've been above both the Arctic and Antarctic Circle. 7 continents is wild to me that I've done that twice. The first time I did it in 18 years. The second time I did it in 7 or 9 months. Depends on how you want to count that. I count the actual months, which was 9. If you want to count the days, it works out to 7 months. Anyway, I'm digressing. I'm getting into the weeds. The point is, I did 7 continents again in less than a year, and I did that while working a fully remote 9-to-5 job. It was something I do not recommend, and I never want to repeat again. I pulled at least one 24-hour day while I was in Asia. Everyone conveniently forgot that I was working East Coast hours and half days while I was in Asia. Not salty about that at all. I went 7 months without a single day off because I had to bank my PTO. So I had 3 weeks of PTO to go to Europe and Africa and Antarctica. And there's a lot there that I could unpack in another video, but I will say that is something I will never ever forget, and I will very likely never ever forgive my company and my senior management for the way they treated me. And that's all I'm going to say on that subject for the moment. But it all adds up to the fact that I am never, ever asking permission to live my life again. Because I had moments in my life that I would not have had otherwise had I chosen to put my job first. And I will never, ever put a corporate job first again in my life. Cannot believe I'm going to post that in public. This is going to be here forever, and people are going to like copy and paste the transcript or save the video, and it'll never go away. And I'm sorry to anybody who potentially sees a resume if I ever apply to a corporate job again, which who knows, maybe just for S's and G's. I don't know. Yeah. So, which this is going to be so interesting. I wrote down some questions that I think I'm going to try and answer here, or maybe we could collectively answer them. So, what happens when your job stops being the thing that answers? So what do you do? That's an exciting question. So what do you do? Well, it used to be I'm a consultant. Now it's figuring it out. I don't know. They put it in there. I also want to be clear that this was never about I want to quit my job. I didn't quit my job. I was laid off with about 30 other people from my job. I wasn't alone. Hey. But I just want to make that distinction that I didn't quit. I didn't walk away without a plan. I was shown the door because of poor financial decisions and on a lot of different people's parts, not just my company, just the sector of the corporate world I was in. So a lot of dominoes started falling that were out of my control. So all that to be said, I don't want my job to be the organizing principle of my life. I just don't. It's not something that works for me. I want to travel. I want to dance. I want to make sure that I have the time and the flexibility to be with my friends and my family when I want, or if and when they need me. Life happens, and it's They're more important to me than a job is ever going to be. So, yeah, super exciting. Just double checking my notes one more time as I talk to the computer and not to you. Um, yeah, I'm just going all in. I'm going all in on building a life, where I don't have to wait till retirement to live it. And that's assuming that I'm lucky enough to make it to retirement age with my health. And because a lot of people unfortunately don't. So, yeah, I'm gonna build my life in a way. I'm gonna restructure my life in a way where I get to live it and not have to wait and hope that someday I get to do that in the future. So yeah, still building it. Day one starts today. Day one of 100. Oh my gosh, must be crazy. But yeah, I mean, I've done 100 days of posting in a row before. I know I can do it. Super excited for the journey. Yeah, this is day one. So let's see what day 100 looks like. Bye.